Okay, good. So we can start. So before we start, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Bek Sultan, and I'm currently studying at Sapienza University. So I'm finishing my third year, and I'm almost graduating this year. And so 4 years, actually 3 years ago, I did talk 4 times. I did it 4 times because in order to apply for my program, the passing rate was 90% of the test. And so it took me 4 times to get 90% of the test. And yeah, since then, I started helping students for preparation for this test. And yeah, over 3 years, 300 students graduated this course. And yeah, this is like the good reason why you should listen me, because I had experience working on like students that did talk-I, did talk-E, and yeah. So before we dive into the test, first we have to figure out what's the talk test. And I think most of you already did a small research about this test, and I'm pretty sure you're able to kind of guess what kind of test you need to take, because TOLC has many variation. And basically, this is the entrance test for Italian universities. You could kind of compare it to, let's say, every country has its own entrance exam for university. Let's imagine you're in United States and you'll have to do SAT in order to apply for United States universities, right? In my case, I'm from Kyrgyzstan. I had to do ORT, this kind of a entrance test. Maybe you are from in your countries. I'm pretty sure you also have entrance tests in order to apply for universities, and this is pretty the same here in Italy. The main test is in Italian, but since there are many international students, they do it in English as well. Basically, you have talk and you have English talk. So the difference is just a translation. The original test is in Italian, but they translate it to English, so the international students could also do it and could also apply for universities in English. Good. And so basically there are many variation of the test. I think there are more than 10 variation of talk test, which is talk-I, talk-E, talk-F, talk-Psi, I think, yeah, more than seven for sure. And today we'll focus on let's say two tests, which are talk-I and talk-E. These are the most popular tests, and most of the students doing them. And the only difference between those two tests is that it depends, like for which program are you applying to. For example, let's imagine that you want to study computer science or physics or some engineering program. So in this case, you have to take talk-I, which is this one. On the other hand, let's imagine that you want to study, let's say, business administration or management or economy or statistics or some social science courses. In this case, you have to do talk-E. In the case, if you want to study medicine, you have to do talk-med or talk-F. But in today's video, we're not going to cover them. We're going to cover only these two variations of the test. And I'm pretty sure that in your head, you already have a program or a sphere that you want to study. And please write in the chat to which program are you planning to apply, or at least which sphere of science. Maybe you're going to apply for technical courses or for humanitarian courses. That would be really helpful for me. And I could give you feedback which talk you should take. So you can write in the chat. Let's imagine you could write, I want to study computer science. So I give you feedback, which talk you have to do. And for example, maybe you're going to study international relationship. So in this case, you have to do talk-E. And yeah, I'll wait your messages. Ahmed, in your case, statistics, most probably you're gonna do talk-e. Like all statistics courses require talk-e. Uh, I think there is energy engineering in Politecnico di Milano and Politecnico di Torino in these two universities. So there should be courses in English for sure. Study. In the case of artificial intelligence, Alicia, like you have to do talk-i for sure because I mean, I'm studying artificial intelligence. There are three options or four options in Italy. I think you can apply for Sapienza, for Politecnico di Milano, for I think there is a university in Perugia, and the last one is in Pavia. So there are options for artificial intelligence. And the same for computer science. There are many courses on computer sciences. Digital marketing, I guess there is a course in Bologna University. Most probably, yeah, there is. International and European law, most probably you're gonna have some courses in Sapienza. And global humanity, yeah, there is a course in Sapienza as well. So like for both of you, you have to do talk-e. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, yeah, talk-i. And yeah, okay, good. Thank you for your feedback. And we can continue. So uh, this is the structure of talk-i for those who are planning to study in the engineering field. Um, so basically there are four sections. The first one is math, then logic, science, and verbal comprehension. Basically, verbal comprehension is just reading. Okay, the main, let's say, concentration of the questions are in math because you have 20 questions out of 50, which covers mathematics. And okay, then you'll have logic, which is 10 questions. Then you'll have science. Basically, the science is just a mix of questions from physics and chemistry. Usually, it is 50-50, you know, like half of the 10 questions, let's say five questions, are regarding to physics, and other half are regarding to chemistry. But sometimes you could have more physics questions than chemistry questions, or vice versa. You could have more chemistry questions than physics, but usually it's 50-50. And for the verbal comprehension, you have two texts. Like for each text, you have five questions. And for each text, these five questions, you have only 10 minutes. So basically, for me, the most challenging, let's say the most challenging section was verbal comprehension because you have a two, let's say, like 700 word text. And for each text, you have five questions and you are given only 20 minutes. So it means that for one text and five questions, you're given 10 minutes. And this is not a lot. And yeah, you should be able to manage to read all text, answer all questions in 10 minutes. And the total number of questions are 50. So according the, let's say the maximum score is 50. Each question is 1 point, and you're given 110 minutes or almost 2 hours to complete the test. Let me click the link. So basically here you could see the topics. For example, this is the science section. Then you have mechanics, optics, thermodynamics, which are physics. And then a little bit down, you have chemistry, you have solutions, organic chemistry. And these are the topics that you're going to cover. The same, if you go for math, you have geometry, you have trigonometry, you have statistics, you have equations, and so on and so forth. When you have time, I'll send this link with the syllabus. Just try to read carefully and look up for the topics so you could see what kind of topics you might receive on your exam. So let's go back. By the way, do you have any questions here on talk-i? Don't be shy. If you have any doubts, you could turn your microphone and ask me. or you could write to the chat. Nice. No questions. We can go for the talk-E. The difference in talk-E is that in this case, you have only three sections, which is logic, verbal comprehension, and math. So there is no science in talk-E, and that's why it's much easier than talk-I. Also, you have like reduced number of questions, which are 36, and you're given 90 minutes. And there are less math questions, and the math questions are kind of in general, they cover less topics. So there is no trigonometry and there is no statistics in the math questions. So it's kind of a little bit easier because you have to cover less topics. Uh, in verbal comprehension, again, you have the same two texts. You have 5 questions for each text, but in this case, you have more time. So in talk-I, you used to have 20 minutes for the same 2 texts and for the same 10 questions, but in talk-E, you have 30 minutes. 30 minutes for the same 2 texts for the same questions. So basically, reading comprehension part is much easier in talk-E rather than in talk-I because you have 10 more minutes to read, to answer for the same text. By the way, like from my experience, you could have like reading comprehension in talk-I and talk-E, they use the same texts. So in talk-I, you could receive the text from talk-E, and in talk-E, you could receive the text from talk-I. So the only difference is the time. And then you have logic, which is 13 questions. So basically there is 3 more questions than talk-I, and you are given 30 minutes to complete them. So this is the difference. Basically, in general saying, talk-E is much easier than talk-I because there is no science and because the reading part is easier. And also the math part is easier. Also, later I'll send you the link so you could check out the kind of topics. For example, this is the math part. You could just compare this number of topics with the previous math part of talk-I, which was this. So there is a big significant difference. Okay, anytime, let's say in logic and reading what they write logic section does not require specific preparation. So, but this is actually false. Uh, in talk-E and talk-I, logic part can be a little bit challenging if you don't know the basics of the logic. And kind of if you have a really good logical intuition, you can rely on it. Maybe you can answer 8 out of 10 questions, but still you'll have some mistakes. So if you want to complete logic for the 100%, you have to study logic. There are some topics that you need to know. For example, there are like necessary and sufficient conditions. There are sets, set theory. There are probabilities. There are if conditions, and then negation of the statement. In general, the most important part is to understand what is the statement and what's the true and what's the false. By the way, logic part in talk-I and talk-E are the same. Good. Do you have any questions here? Okay, if you don't have questions, I'll try to connect my tab and I'll give you an example of the test. Just give me a moment. I think there is a question in the chat. Can we retake exam to improve results? Of course, you can retake exam every month. For example, if you did it, let's say at September and you want to retake it, you can retake it at October. So basically, the next calendaric month, you are available to take the test. It does not really mean that you have to wait 30 days, but it means that you have to take it in a different month. For example, you can take it in, let's say, 31st of August. For example, you took it in the 31st of August, and then you don't like results and you want to retake it, and then you can retake it in the 1st of September because 31st of August and the 1st of September, these are two different months, and the interval only 1 day, and it should be fine. So it does not mean necessarily that you have to wait 30 days in order to retake it. You just have to be two different months. And there is no limitation on how many times you can take it. You can take it like 3 or 4 times. For example, I took it 4 times, and yeah, that was good for me because I had to score like very high in order to apply for my program. And yeah, most probably you're gonna take it at least twice in order to get, let's say, 36 out of 36 on толк-е and 50 out of 50 on толк-ай. Good. Let's imagine you have a question. Let's say this is the first question, and there is a description of the question, and then you have 5 different options. So you have A, you have B, you have C, you have D. So usually in the tests, there are 4 options, right? For example, in SAT, in ENT, in ЕГЭ, like all different kind of tests, usually you have 4 different options. And the guessing rate, for example, if you don't know the answer and you want to guess, so basically you have 0.25, let's say, let me be more specific in percentage, you have 25% chance that you guess and your answer would be correct. So this is pretty good chance. For example, if you don't know the answer, you can just guess. But in talk, you'll have 5 different options. You'll have A, you'll have B, you'll have C, you'll have D, and then you'll have E as well. So in this case, you have 5 different options. And for example, if you want to guess, what's your chance of guessing correctly? What do you think? Are you good at percentages? Yeah, that's correct. It is 20. So you have less chance to guess correctly in the talk because you have 5 different options rather than 4. And one more thing is that for every wrong question, for example, let's imagine you guessed D, right? You click D, but D was wrong answer. For every wrong answer, there is a penalty, which is minus 0.25 out of the total score. For example, let's imagine you did the test and you did 35 correct and only 1 wrong. So in a normal test, you would have scored 35 out of 36, right? So if the total number of questions 36 and you had only 1 mistake in a normal test, that would be your score, 35 out of 36. But my question in the talk, if you have 35 correct answer but only 1 wrong, what will be your score according to the penalty? What do you think? So someone wrote to the chat. Not really 35.75 because for like you'll not gain 1 point, Fahad. Yeah, it will be 34.75 out of 36 because 35 correct answer, you will gain 35 points, right? And then 1 wrong answer, you will not gain 1 point. they will subtract 0.25 out of your total score, which is 34.75. For example, if you have four mistakes, like four wrong questions, let me write four mistakes, then they will subtract -1 from your overall score. So that's why in Talk, if you don't know the answer, if you cannot do educated guess, it is better not to guess at all because you have only 20% of the guessing rate, and also you have like chance of getting penalty. And this chance is very high. Basically 80% of the time you'll get wrong, and 80% of the time you'll get penalty 0.25. And if you don't know the answer, it's better not to answer at all. You can just leave it unanswered, and they will not subtract any points from unanswered questions. Okay, good. Do you have any questions here? Can we continue? So far, so good. All right. I guess should be good. Let me check the time. Okay, we still have the time. Now, what we are gonna do is we are gonna try to solve the real problem from the talk test. Let's say usually in the talk test, whenever you have a problem, you have only 2 minutes to complete the problem. And I'll give you a problem, and then I'll give you 2 minutes, and in 2 minutes you just try to solve it. And once you solve it, you can write your correct answer to the chat group as a private message, so the other cannot see it. And after 2 minutes, I'll just give you a solution. Maybe if you did it wrong, you could see the correct answer. And if you did it correct, maybe you could see the different way of solving this problem. That would be also useful. Okay. Let me see. I can find it. Okay, this is the math question. Basically, this is the age problem. And let me do a screen so you could see it better in OneNote. Okay, can you read it? Is it readable? Can you see it? Okay, nice. So I'm counting 2 minutes from now. So you have 2 minutes. Just try to give a shot. And after 2 minutes, we'll try to solve it together. Good luck. Guys, if you solved it, please write your answer as a private message. So far I receive only one answer, and yeah, I will give you 1 more minute. Just try to think about this problem. Okay, up here. Yeah, that's correct. Sakina, that's correct. Fahad, unfortunately, this is not 54, and we'll see why. Okay, I think we can start to solve this problem together. Just give me a moment to set up. All right, usually in the age problem, what you have to do, you have to make an equation from the given description. So here, what you have Paula, you have Guido, and then you have Anna, right? So you have Paula and her husband Guido, and then their daughter Anna. And here you have kind of a connections between Paula, between Guido, and between Anna. And from these connections, you have to build an equation. So just to be a little, just to make it simpler, instead of Paula, I will use P. Instead of Guido, I will use G. And instead of Anna, I will use A, right? So it says that Paula is married to Guido, who is 4 years older than her. So basically, Guido is 4 years older than Paula. Do you agree if I can do like this? Like age of Guido is the same as age of Paula plus 4 because he is 4 years older. For example, let's imagine that Guido is 50 years old. No, let's imagine that the Paula is 50 years old. Then the Guido will be 54 because he's 4 years older than her uh, wife, right? So this is our first equation. Let me write first. Okay, now I have to build the second equation. The second equation is the relationship between Paula and between Anna, right? It says Paula was 30 years old when her first daughter Anna was born. So basically, when Anna was 0, let's imagine when Anna was 0, Paula was 30 years old, right? So let's imagine that Anna is 5 years old. What will be the age of Paula in this case? Yeah, it will be 35. So 35, good. And do you agree with me that the age of Anna is the same as age of Paula minus 30 years old? Because Anna was 0 when the Paula was 30 years old. And basically, it says that the age of Anna is 30 years old less than the age of your mother, right? Do you agree with me in this case? So this is the second equation. And the last equation, so here you'll have the relationship between Anna and the relationship between her father, which is Guido. So basically, this is the relationship of Anna and Guido. It says Anna, like the current age of Anna, right now, Anna is, let's say, it says half of her father age. So it will be Anna is equal to the age of Guido divided by 2, because it says half of your father age, right? Perfect. Now we have these three equations. Look, 1, 2, and 3. So all these three equations are kind of dependent from each other, right? So we could use one equation in order to solve another equation. So in this case, what I really would like to do is, so it says Anna is equal to Paula minus 30 years old. So it means that instead of Anna, we can use this variable, right? So instead of this Anna, I will use this. So I can write P minus 30 is equal to, okay, now in this case, you have G. Instead of this G, I can use Paula plus 4, right? Because they are equal. So I'll write, instead of G, I'll write Paula plus 4 divided by 2. So instead of this G, we use P plus 4. And now you have only one variable in your equation. Anytime you have one variable equation, you can easily solve it. So what we can do here, we can multiply both sides by 2. So once you multiply both sides by 2, these two will cancel out. And then you have to multiply by 2p, and then by minus 30. You have 2p minus 60 is equal to p plus 4. Okay, now in this case, you can kind of add plus 60 to both sides, right? Once you add plus 60 to both sides, this 60 and this 60 will cancel out. And here you'll have p plus 64 is equal to 2p. Okay, now from both sides, you can subtract minus p. So it will be p is equal to this p, and this minus p will cancel out, equal to 64. And from the beginning, what was the p? P was the age of Paula. So it means that the Paula is 64 years old. And this is the answer, which is B. Was it difficult, guys, for you? Did you understand it? If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Okay, once we know the age of Paula, my question is, what's the age of Guido? And what's the age of Anna? What do you think? If you know the age of Paula, what's the age of Guido and what's the age of Anna? From this point. Yeah, the age of Guido is 68 because Guido is 4 years older than Paula. And yeah, that's great. Anna is 34 years old because Anna, the age of Anna is basically the age of Guido divided by 2. Nice. And there was a question, while exam, can we do this rough work on book? Yeah, you'll have a list of paper like this, and you can take notes on this list of paper. Basically, you have like draft to make all the computations for your exam. Nice. I'll give you one more problem. Um, let's cover some problem from logic, and then we can continue. Just give me a moment. Mm, yeah, let's try to solve this calendar problem. I'll again take it to OneNote so you could see it better. Okay, the rules are the same. You have 2 minutes, and please try to make it in 2 minutes because during your exam, you will not have more time than 2 minutes to solve the problem. So once you've done, you can write your answer as a private message, and then we'll see solution. Good luck. Yes, Alexandra, Fahad, Aliksha, that's correct. Uh, so I just forgot to remind you, in order to solve this problem, you have to be able to know how many days in the months. For example, in April, there are 30 days. So, like, if you forgot it, that would be really problem. Because if it was 31 day in April, for example, you didn't know it, then you would solve this problem wrongly. So that's why you have to be able to know how many days in which months are 31 days, in which months are 30 days, and then there is a February. And in February, usually there are 27. No, there are 28 days. And once in the 4 year, in the February, there are 29 days. So you have to be able to know these. And I guess we can start this problem. We can start to solve this problem. So it says in April of a certain year, there were 5 Sundays, right? And the second piece of information is that the April 1st was not a Sunday. So based on these two pieces of informations, you have to figure out what was the 5th of April of that year. First of all, let's imagine that you're not given that the 1st of April was not a Sunday. You're just given this piece of information that in April of a certain year, there were 5 Sundays. And we have to figure out what's the 5th of April of that year. So in this case, you have to fit 5 Sundays in 30 days. And how would you do it? Like the best choice is to start the month with the Sunday. So for example, the first of April, we can say that the 1st of April was a Sunday. So if the 1st of April was a Sunday, we have already one Sunday in our count, right? So what will be the next Sunday? What's the date of the next Sunday? What do you think? So if the 1st of April was the first Sunday, what will be the next Sunday? Yeah, it will be just like 1 plus 7. Like it will be next week, right? It will be 8th of April. So in this case, that would be our second Sunday, right? And then the next Sunday will be 8 plus 7, which is 15. So 15th of April, that would be our third Sunday. And then 22nd of April will be our fourth Sunday. And the 29th of April would be our fifth Sunday, right? So now, if we start that the 1st of April is the Sunday, this is the best thing to do. If you're gonna, I mean, if you need to fit 5 Sundays in 30 days in April, the best thing you can do is the start, the first day of the month with the Sunday. So you already have one Sunday. But in this case, we have that the 1st of April was not a Sunday. Okay, you have to forget about it. Just give me a moment. We are forgetting about it. Okay, now in our case, what's the best day we're gonna choose for the 1st of April? We cannot choose Sunday. What we can choose? What do you think? What's the best choice to do in order to fit 5 Sundays in 30 days? What's gonna be first day of the month? Uh, Not really Friday, Aliksha, because if you choose Friday, you will not be able to fit the 5th Sunday. So it will be Saturday. Yeah. So we are choosing that the 1st of April is the Saturday. So let me write Saturday. And what will be the 2nd of April in this case? It will be Sunday, right? Because this is the next day of the Saturday, which is Sunday. So in this case, you already have one Sunday. Your month just started, you have the 2nd of April, and you already have one Sunday. So this is like the optimal solution to do, is to get Sunday as fast as you can. And this, in this case, as fast as we can to get Sunday is the 2nd of April. So what will be the next Sunday? It will be 2 plus 7, which is 9. So in the 9th of April will be our second Sunday. And then in the 16th of April would be our third Sunday, right? Then 16 plus 7, which is 23. In the 23rd of April, that would be our fourth Sunday. And then 23 plus 7, which is 30th, right? In the 30th of April, that would be our fifth Sunday. So now we were able to fit 5 Sundays in 30 days. In the case, Aliksha, you wrote Friday. If we would choose the 1st of April as a Friday, then our fifth Sunday would be the 31st. 31st, but we don't have 31 days in April. Like the April contained only 30 days, right? So you won't be able to fit 5 Sundays. So that would be the 1st May, which is another month. So I hope you could understand it. All right. Do you have any questions here? Is everything so far so good? So that was the logic problem. And I guess one of you wrote to the chat, like what kind of test it is. Is it толк-ай or толк-и? Actually, it doesn't matter. Like in the logic part, толк-ай and толк-и have the same logic part. So they take the same questions. And in this case, this is the толк-и, but exactly this question can appear also on толк-ай. And in the case of the mass problem, which we did here, that was also толк-и, but the same problem could appear on толк-ай as well. So basically, mass and logic and actually reading have the same, let's say, topics. The only difference in mass is that in толк-ай you have trigonometry plus statistics. And this is the difference between толк-ай mass and толк-и mass. But the logic part totally the same. Good. Let's continue with presentation. So we did simulation of the test, we did some problems, and yeah, we did practice. And basically, these are the kind of average scores of the students that graduated this course. Like you could see it in percentage, like 87%, this is the average score of the students, and 75% of the test, this is like average score of толк-и students. If you want to see the results, I highly recommend you to check out my Instagram page. So basically, this is the Instagram page of the course. Usually I upload the results, the reviews of the students there. So if you want to see the results, you could go to talk_prep and you could check out. Okay, now we could see a couple of results from the students, and yeah. So the first student was Karina. She scored 36 out of 36, which is the maximum point, which is the 100%. And right now she's studying in Sapienza, University of Rome, in the program of Global Humanities. Actually, some of you wrote that you're planning to study in this program. Okay, another student is Nur. Again, he also scored 36 points out of 36, which is the highest score. And right now he's studying in Sapienza. Another one from Mubin. He's also scored 36 out of 36 in толк-и. Right now he's studying in the University of Milano. Basically, in the Milan, there is two types of university. The first one, I think, is the PolyMe, which is Politecnico di Milano, and the other one is University of Milano. This is the score of Maria. She scored 31 out of 36. And right now she's studying in University of Milano. Then there is Amina, who scored again 31 out of 36. Right now she's studying in Sapienza. Then there is score from Alice. By the way, look, she did only one mistake, and that's why she scored not 35 out of 36, but 34.75 out of 36, because there was penalty like minus 0.25 out of the total score. And this is the result from Sabina. Okay, these are the TOLC-I results. 46.25 out of 50. Right now he's studying in the Sapienza, the same program as me, which is applied computer science and artificial intelligence. Like if you want to apply for this program, like the passing rate is around 90% of the test. So you have to score like more than 45 out of 50 in order to get admitted. So I think he did it twice. Nurperi, she scored 47.5 out of 50. Right now she's studying in University of Pavia. Basically, the Pavia is the, let's say, small city near the Milan. And yeah, she's studying artificial intelligence there. There is Nuraim. She's also studying in University of Pavia in the same program. And there is Sophie. She's studying in the Politecnico di Milano. By the way, Politecnico di Milano is like top one university in Italy. So if you want to study engineering or some technical programs, like in the sphere, in the field of, let's say, math, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, in the field of computer science, like the best choice for you is to apply for Politecnico di Milano, because this is the best university in Italy and one of the best in Europe. Then there is George. By the way, this is the kind of a certificate. After you finish the exam, you'll have kind of this feedback. For example, you have all section, math, logic, science, reading, and then you have scores. Like from math, you scored 16, and then from science, 7.75, so on and so forth. And once you've done your test, right away you will receive this score. So you could know the score right away you finish your exam. And yeah, I think there are like, yeah, if you want to see more results, you could see it in Instagram page. Usually I post it there. There are questions. Just give me a moment. How much marks should we get in TOLC-E? Okay, Sakina, look, in the official page, it says, in order to apply for university, you have to score more than 13 out of 36, like 1, 3. This is the minimum grade. But for example, let's imagine you score 15 out of 36. This score does not guarantee that you will apply, that you will get admission. Usually, they do kind of a table ranking of the students based on the scores from TOLC-E, and they choose the students with the best scores. For example, if you have, let's say, 25 out of 36, it should be enough for many universities. But if you want to apply for Bologna, for Sapienza, for other like top universities, in this case, you have to score more. Like I would say you have to score around 30 plus, like 31, 32, 34 should be enough for these universities. And also, let's imagine that we have two students. Like the one student is let's say, the candidate that has a really high IELTS, let's say she or he has like 8.0 on IELTS, and then he has, let's say, very high GPA, let's say 4 out of 4 GPA, but he has the low TOLC-E results. For example, I would say 20 out of 36. And there is another candidate which has like low scores on IELTS, let's say like 6.0 on IELTS, and then let's say the GPA is low, let's say 3 out of 4, but this student has the high result of TOLC-E. Let's imagine he has like 28 out of 36. In the case, if the admission will see these two students, they will prefer the students with the more TOLC score. They will choose the second one. So basically the TOLC is the, let's say, the main criteria of getting admission for university. What's the score of stats and maths at Bologna? I think there was one student, she got there. I think that was Alice. So she scored 34.75 out of 36, but this is not the minimum score. Like with this score, she was able to get into this program. But I believe that you have to score, in order to apply for Bologna, you have to score 30 plus, like more than 30. Let's say 33, 32 will be enough. Of course, the best thing what you can do is you can score 36 out of 36 and do not worry about rankings. Because if you score 36 out of 36, then for sure you will be able to, uh, let's say, get admitted for the university. And the best thing what you can do is to retake exam couple of times. For example, I would suggest if you get, let's say, 31 out of your first choice, after your first attempt, you got 31 out of 36, I really recommend you to retake it in order to get 36 out of 36 because it's kind of a, it is possible to get 36 out of 36. It's not hard because many students got full mark. So you saw it. The same for TOLC-I. Just try to retake it and try to get as much as possible. Like the best case, you could get 50 out of 50. In this case, you will not worry about rankings of the other students. So you could secure your spot. And yeah, basically this is the course plan. In the case of TOLC-I, we'll have 17 classes. Basically, that would be the Zoom online classes where we'll see the theory and we'll do some practice problems. And the duration of the course is 2.5 months and the price is here, you will see. And for TOLC-E, we'll have 13 lessons. Basically, it takes less to prepare for TOLC-E rather than for TOLC-I because in the case of TOLC-I, you'll have science and then you'll have extra math classes, which are trigonometry and statistics. So that's why it takes 13 lessons to be able to, to be ready for the test. And the duration is around 2 months and the price is here. And these are the main platforms that we are going to use. Like for communication, I'll use Google Classroom. I'll put homeworks, I'll put materials, I'll put some notes from the classes. And yeah, like for the online meetings, we'll use Zoom. And then I'll also send the links of the extra recorded classes from YouTube. And then like mainly I will use OneNote for the taking notes. And this is the schedule. This is kind of an approximate schedule. This is not yet established. So there is opportunity to change the dates. It's based on your availability. And the course starts at the 5th of September. Actually, for the September, I will start only one group. So if you want to join, you should do it in advance because there are limited spots. And yeah, basically, this is the conclusion that anytime you want to apply for the university, the main criteria is your TOLC results. So that's why you should be able to score high in order to secure your spot. All right, here are my contacts. Like most of you already, I think you came from the YouTube channel and some of you came from Instagram. So if you haven't yet seen Instagram page, I really recommend you to check it out. And here are WhatsApp and Telegram. So most of you already have them. And yeah, we are done for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't be shy. You could put your microphone. You could ask some questions if you don't really understand something.